We are live.
Oh, this is such a disaster. Okay, everybody, thank you guys again for tuning in to the Degen Report. This is episode number 7, and today we have two lovely guests, the Cardano couple of the year, Viva and Fart. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They do so much in the space, so I don't want to even try to glance over it. I'll just let you guys kind of take it away. Just kind of give a little bit more about yourselves. How you got into the CNFT space, what you do in the CNFT space, anything relevant like that.
I'll let the words guy take it away.
You want me to kick this off? Okay, so I am Vivalacoin. I originally was in crypto well before CNFT came to be. I, a long time ago, came to the conclusion that the majority of our financial systems were inherently fraudulent, corrupt, bottlenecked, stacked against people. And although I shifted my profession, went back to school, got my MBA, worked in business, I saw a ton of flaws with it. And I thought that blockchain, especially Cardano, and the mission of connecting people, making things accessible, affordable, secure, decentralized, that's where I wanted to be outside of Bitcoin. It is my L1 and to build with that community. Now, in starting early last bull run and then going through the entirety of the bear market and then watching another bull run, now we're in a bear market, it gives me a very unique... Hey, I don't care. I'm good with it. That doesn't really impact me, but it's funny watching right now people reacting the same way I saw people react in 2017, 2018, 2019. And although I made Vivalacoin at the start of 2021, that was more so, I finally, instead of just investing myself and talking to friends or family, I wanted to make a channel where I could educate people about just blockchain in general, cryptocurrency, make sure that people were putting their money in the right places. I just felt compelled to do it at that point after COVID kind of thrust us into this sort of hyperbolic timeline of, hey, we got to get everything done before we get to probably 2024. So I made Vivalacoin, and then it just so happened soon after that, CNFT became a thing. So although it took me a couple months in early 2021 to wrap my head around the concept of NFTs, once it clicked, I've been an active participant ever since, including pestering my artist girlfriend with background in education in art to make her profile since last summer. And finally, she capitulated and made what today is known as CNFT Fart.
Is it my turn?
Cool.
I'm Fart. I draw titties on the internet. I'm here to make everyone laugh. And that's it. That's about it. Just kidding. I mean, I've been in crypto since 2017. Not as much as Viva. I was the average person that was chucking the extra $300 they had lying around in. And then I met Viva, and he shoved me into this space, and it's been great. And I love everybody that I've met, and I can't wait for CNFT Con. And it's great. I never thought I would actually get a chance to do art professionally, but it pays off being early in these kind of spaces.
Yep. Yeah. How did you two meet?
We are co-workers. It's actually a funny story. So my best friend at the time was Viva's co-worker at their job. And he is a larger than life personality. So she would tell me all of these stories about Viva and them going on these work trips and him getting obliterated and just what a rambunctious office worker he was, whatever. So I end up getting a job there during COVID, so I could work from home. And I started in September, and it's Halloween. I maybe talked to Viva 3 times. We weren't friends. And I completely dressed up as him for Halloween because I had heard all of these stories for years leading up to it. So I like drew a beard on my face and put a Hawaiian shirt on. So that springboarded our friendship, and then we were both not doing super great, and we really like leaned on each other in that time, and like our relationship blossomed and whatever.
Aww.
But yeah, it was a really great turn of events from a shitty situation. So
Yeah, and you both work in sales, right?
technically, I mean,
Let's go.
Technically, well,
Let's go.
what she failed to mention was my rambunctious drunken escapades at work. I was still like the national top performer year over year in what we do. We deal with like CRM and payroll services and HR compliance management and stuff like that. But I was really good at what I did there, and I was kind of found, that whether it was her or anyone else, I complained about the way things were structured more than anyone. And I'm like, why? And I'm assuming I can swear on your show, but just like, I'm like, why the fuck are things set up this way? And if there's anyone that shouldn't complain, it's me. Like, I'm doing better than most other people here, but I'm telling you, like, this is unsustainable. This is broken in various aspects. So, like, I spent a lot of my time just butting heads with leadership and management. I still do. However, even in that, I think it was always trying to find a way to create either pathways or solutions of thinking that made things better for everyone. You don't have to fuck over, your employees or the clients or cut corners. Like, there's always a way to do things correctly. And in this space, I feel like I tend to still be a little bit, not contentious, but I absolutely will butt heads with people if I'm like, this is not going to work. Like, it might work today, but on the long scale, where does value potential come from? Where does sustainability of what you're doing come from? And when we first started talking, like, it was our like rock bottom weekend. And we were already friends for months at that point and already kind of leaned on each other. But it was May of last year where the market dropped like 15K in a day. Everything was on fire. She had a massive like negative life event that same day.
I had a psychotic break and ended up in the ER. So
oh no!
Now, but like
not an ideal day. Not an ideal day.
And to clarify, that was completely not related to our markets.
Right.
Or our friendship.
Yeah, like it was a completely separate thing. But I'm just like laying there and I'm just like getting texts from every person I know that I've talked to over the last 5 years about this. I was like, okay, so I made all these channels explaining these things to people. I was making YouTube videos, really putting time and effort out there. No one paid attention to a single word I said. And then everyone hit me up that exact same day at the same exact time, panicking or blaming me that they were in the market. And irrationally, 4 or 5 months later, half of those people asked, like, oh, what do I do now? When everything was like $20,000 Bitcoin or $3 Cardano. Yeah. I've learned at this point, you can educate people within our market, but whenever you try and extend your way out, it is almost an exercise in futility because there's just too much misinformation, too much impatience, too much desperation or greed. And I found a lot of solace and peace in the fact that Fart allowed me to be this stubborn, nonstop, convicted person in the things that I did or what I saw or what I believed in because like everything is still working out. It's just a matter of, someone believing it.
And you've heard him speak. It's not like I could stop him if I wanted to. Like, he's the most stubborn man I've ever met. Like, no matter what I say, he's not going to change his mind. So I might as well just roll with it.
Right.
Yeah. But like, sometimes those people, they are the best people to get behind.
And, like, he's so firm in his convictions that, like, he has a very clear vision of like where things are going and like what needs to be done to get there, and like he doesn't really deviate from that path. So having someone that has this goal and vision to like kind of lead you along with them, it's very helpful. Like, I wouldn't be into any of this stuff if it weren't for him, and like, it's working out.
Yeah,
it's funny.
So far, the markets, they aren't doing amazing yet, but time will tell this tale.
I would say they already are if you look at the broader market. So I do like my space and talk about macro and stuff, but just to throw it out there for anyone that's listening or wants my perspective and my non-financial advising, in my own opinion words. When I was looking at the markets, I even had a screenshot that I snapped a bunch of people, including my old financial advisor that I wound up just replacing because I was like, I'm good. I'll just keep an eye on my own stuff. I sent a Snapchat in January of 2021, and it was actually the first week of the month, so it was even before like GameStop or any of that meme stock shit started popping off. And on it, I just said economic or global financial collapse, November 2021. And if you look at every major index in the stock market, that was the top. And it's like I always tend to be a year or two early to like all these different things. I couldn't even put it on any like one factor. I tend to be sort of like in this middle ground of consuming a lot of information because I have crushing ADHD, but then also
same.
But I'm just constantly consuming information. I have a background in sort of just business in my MBA. I understand economics, but I also am kind of intuitive and being able to pick up a bunch of things from a bunch of experts that tend to be so finite in their focus that they miss the bigger picture. And most financial advisors that I've known have been completely wrong every time I talk to them. Most traditional developers and coders don't understand the concept of blockchain because it isn't what they've learned. And that whole group consensus thing just seems like a waste of energy, and you latch on to arguments like that because they're not looking at the financial system. I somehow have just like this blend of way of looking at it that it works out. But I would say for the market, it's down, but then again, it isn't. It's down in US dollars. So your entry point or your on-ramp out of an old system into a new one is cheaper than if it was up in US dollars. But the networks themselves have merges. They have all these new updates coming out. Cardano has Vassal occurring. Bitcoin, compared to the last time everyone was saying the market's down, everything is dead, is adopted tenfold comparatively. The majority of society that's so fed up with everything, they're just going to ape into meme coins until everyone can't ignore cryptocurrency in general. Like, it's still a good on-ramp for them to make a wallet, to introduce themselves to things. And I would say that we are in a better position today considering everything else kind of disintegrating in the traditional world. And it seems like there's a new crisis and 10 black swan events on the horizon. I would say we're probably in one of the best positions in the world at the moment.
Speaking of meme coins, did you guys ape into any awful ones in 2021, the beginning of that?
The coin that got me into crypto was during the Doge hype. So I ended up making like maybe it's $200 off of Doge. But
money, though. That's good.
Dude, I bought at like 60, so I made none. I made literally nothing. I lost it all.
But during that debacle, kind of like Viva was talking about, like Elon got me into it, but then I kind of went head first into everything else and like looked into Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. Then I ended up like finding other top 10 coins at the time. So I ended up getting into Cardano, the technology behind it, the fact that it wasn't as pumpy as the counterparts to it. So I kind of preferred that. Back whenever I first bought into it, Cardano was maybe at like 56 cents, which was like maybe last year this time. So I'm doing good. Not too mad about it. I mean, I did buy some big time NFTs for $3, but I also bought most of my Cardano for like maybe $1, so I'm not too mad.
So you're essentially the perfect case study of a meme coin getting someone into the market, but exposing them to actual functional blockchain and decentralization. So it's cool to see.
I was a Litecoin maxi back in 2017.
You want to talk about the most frustrating experience of my entire life? The most frustrating experience, more so than like being stuck in an airport or updating my driver's license or breaking my foot. The most frustrating thing I've ever had to do was convince her to sell Litecoin. And it was just this exhaustive. I felt like Sisyphus pushing a boulder up the hill every day.
And it just rolls back.
Rolls back down. No, I didn't sell it yet.
When did you end up selling that Litecoin?
Not at the top.
Yeah.
You bought it at the top.
No, I didn't. I bought it back in the way back. I want to say I was down maybe $300 whenever I did sell it. And I just pushed it all into Cardano at that point.
Good. That's like something I'm very slowly learning, is that sometimes it's okay to lose.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be better opportunities to come, and because like I ended up buying my Litecoin for maybe 90, and then I sold it for maybe a 120, which isn't bad at all. But you also need to think that it did go up to fucking like 500, 600. So the fact that I didn't sell then kind of taught me so much about this ecosystem, which I'm sure you also learned the same thing.
Oh yeah,
I remember looking at my like Delta tracking app during the last bull run, and I'm up like $1,000 in Litecoin, and Joe is screaming. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Viva's screaming at me to sell this Litecoin now, and I'm like, fuck it, we're going all the way to the top, Litecoin, baby! Not so much.
And
no.
It's even harder when I've had a couple hundred exits in like micro to small cap coins. It's even harder to sell those because if you go and you put money in and it's up 100x, you would think rationally that it would be easier to take profit than if you were in some slow grind and it's up 2x. But it almost creates this false sense of if this keeps going,
it's always the what if.
Yeah, and you start adding it up, but those types of movements are 10 times more volatile than some of the larger market caps. In that case, I had to learn the hard way a couple times, like just to pull some stuff off the table. But there are certain positions that I will not move. Like, I'm not selling CNFTs. I have a hard wallet with all my Bitcoin in it. Doesn't get touched. And then Cardano in and of itself, I don't sell it. I just use it. But everything else outside of that's fair game.
I had a friend that put like $500 into Cum Rocket back in the day.
Jesus Christ!
It was up to $27,000 $1,000 and
Did
he
he
didn't
sell?
sell.
Fuck.
L's in the chat.
Fuck. That's awful. That's an awful feeling. I chased the like the very end of like the metaverse trend at the end of last year to like the bitter end. Like I just held on hoping that like it would just go back up, and it just never did. So I ended up selling like a bunch of like metaverse stocks like a couple months ago for like hella loss. And I was like, I'll just write it off on my taxes. Fuck it. We'll figure it out.
My first tweet that like blew up was Pavia's about to buy me new titties. I was also a little bullish on the metaverse stocks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went crazy on them. And then I just gave up.
Looking back on it, like I also began to kind of get into it, but you kind of do a more research on it, and you need to make so much goddamn money to make a metaverse. It blows my mind. Like maybe you could get something like VR chat, but to make an actual functioning metaverse, you need to make so much money.
We don't even know how to do it. Like that's
no.
the biggest catch out of the entire metaverse thing. And I talked to one of my friends that does YouTube videos as well, Jay Crypto. He's super big in the metaverse, and he hosts like his Metaverse Monday Spaces, and I love hearing them talk about it because in order of importance, it is the bottom of the totem pole for me in like the past couple months, and where am I going to invest? Because I know it isn't ready yet.
Yeah.
When it comes to metaverses, even creating video games are incredibly expensive outside of like arcade style games, which might make more sense for like play to earn tokenomics. But for metaverses, one of my biggest concerns was, and it always goes back to thinking about it in like 5 different angles, but if you have an existential financial crisis and a supply chain crisis and an energy crisis, where are all these people that can't afford firewood going to buy their headsets and their computers and get all their semiconductors from a country in the middle of a war that can't be shipped anywhere, and they're going to spend time in the metaverse? Like, we have very large problems in the short term to fix. The financial system, functional blockchain. The reason why, like, my biggest holding isn't even Cardano, it's Bitcoin, but I don't move it. But without that, that is the only functional decentralized form of blockchain that we have. If that fails, then the government's just going to go and burn IOG to the ground. Like, if they could break that, then everything breaks. So really, you have to look at what functionally works, and then why does it work? And then sort of build backwards. And even when you're looking at CNFT projects, where I put my focus or a lot of my attention, it is there value here, or is it just hype? Is it speculation, or is there something useful here in either the short or the long term? The metaverse was a lot of hype.
Yeah.
It had a lot of potential, just not realized potential. And when you realize potential in a bear market at down 95% across the board in those things, it loses momentum very quick.
Yeah. Yeah, Zuckerberg really sold me on that fucking video. That asshole.
I mean, Zuckerberg sold a bunch of his own stock prior to that anyway, so he will forever always be a billionaire, and he's a lizard person.
Yeah. So, we can't believe a single word those lizards say. Fucking lizards. Not to kind of change the topic, but we also got asked a couple of good questions over on our Twitter, which is the Degen Report over on Twitter. So one of those first questions was, when are you guys planning to get married?
I knew that would be one of the first ones. So it will happen soon enough, but I am irreparably illiquid at the moment, so I don't want to give you some ring from a gumball machine. I have a plan for everything, so you guys,
the man with the plan.
I'm sure everyone's going to launch me into just a complete panic attack at some point in CNFT when everyone gets around and
Look,
points
there's
at
a
me
chapel right there.
and Shane just like, do it or you don't love her. And I'm just like, no. And she's just crying and storms away. So yeah, can't wait for that to happen.
Yep, that'll be the biggest day in CNFT history.
Facts. You can join the ranks. I'm getting married next month, so you can join in the ranks.
There you go.
Huh?
Congrats.
Where's our invite? The fuck?
Listen. You know, these things are expensive. The head cap, I mean, it's rough. I got to feed people. You know, I got to provide drinks.
Out your bar.
You can just like buy us some type of CNFT rug or like something. We don't care.
Wait, what is we? You're getting married too?
No. No, but we as people, you didn't invite.
Oh, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
What if for wedding favors for our CNFT wedding, our like favor was a rug? We'll give you a Coco Loco or a Bright Pal. That
would actually be a good idea. That'd be a cool idea.
With either.
I like it. I'll just give you a fluffy.
We ordered like these little like, I don't know, my fiance is like very handy with like the Cricut, like acrylic stuff. She likes to do like DIY stuff. So we made like hand sanitizer bottles with like a logo on it that's like our initials, and they look dope. It took forever to do, but they look cool. So everybody better use them till the end of time, or I'm gonna be upset.
Those wedding gifts, they are the dumbest shit.
Yeah, well, the thing is, no
ever.
one keeps them. They're like, oh, a chapstick, and then they like get drunk and throw it away. Like no one keeps them, or you know.
Then give us something we actually like give.
Yeah, like a Coco Loco.
Like a Coco Loco. Everybody loves those.
Right.
I mean, if the shitty trend came back, we all get fidget spinners or something like.
See?
Silly bands. That's what I'm
Viva and I both need some type of toy to like take our ADHD and like let us do something with it. But the next question is kind of dumb, but the people deserve to know who can bench more.
Me. It's me.
Are we rolling with that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What can you bench? I'm sure that's the nice way to ask. Or that's the nice way to ask the question. How much can you bench?
I mean, my max was like 335, but I weighed like 180.
And that's pounds, right? We're Americans. We don't do the kilograms and shit like that.
Fuck a kilogram.
Fuck a gram.
Yeah, now I'm old and I'd probably blow out a rotator cuff.
Careful.
Yeah.
How old are you guys?
I'm 28.
31.
31. So
We're such babies, Mitch.
Tyler's like 24, and I'm like fucking baby AF.
How old are you, Stutter Boy?
So I am 23, but
it's his LeBron year.
But I've got the face and the attitude of a 13-year-old. So
that's fast.
So,
young at heart.
Yeah, my advice is just hangovers just get consistently worse every single day. It becomes insufferable to even enjoy life.
Wow. Well, wow, I can't wait to turn 26 or 7 or 8.
I can't wait to be old like you guys.
That's what I was about to say. Like, Mitch, let's ring it back a little bit.
No, that's not what I said. Nobody said old. Nobody said old. But
There you go.
He rugged his own. He hosts it. I don't know. He rugged last week too. Sorry, his internet's fucked. He'll come back in 10. Oh, there he is.
I rugged. Which which that makes me kind of happy because the past like 15 minutes I've not seen
Christ.
y'all's cameras at all.
You played it off really well.
Yeah,
That's because it happened last week twice.
Hey, twice. See, because what it is there's a thing on my mouse that's like so easy to push, and because I'm like so ADHD, I need to be like pushing
You need a stress
something,
ball. That's what I
touching
have in my lap.
something.
You need some
But-
like textures, like 10 different textures, so you can like.
Or
touch-
like
I
a
have
fidget
some-
cube. Like a little fidget cube.
I've got some baby wipes. I've got that over in my
What did you
bedroom, but I
What
need
is this
more.
thing? Yeah, everyone brings out all their
See,
ADHD toys that they
that's-
sit at the desk with all day. He goes into a different room. No, I definitely have like a lot of ADHD toys like working from home. I like feel like I just like nonstop just sit here all day, so I need to like fidget with something. The sales life, you know how it is. What do you
Hey, I
have?
had to go into the
Oh, the
office,
cube.
Oh, you have to go into the office. My company's tried to make us go into the office so many times, and they're like, "All right, guys, like we're gonna have food," and then no one goes. Like, just everyone's like, "I'm not going." So I don't know when they're
really
gonna
have
make
to
it.
do it Monday through Wednesday, but yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah,
I'd
Yeah, my
rather
boss
eat
goes.
than go into the office.
yeah. My
Like,
boss thinks it's like everyone's gonna be like rah, like we get to see each other, but like I can just see my friends when I want to. Like I don't want to see everybody in the office. I don't care.
This is forced
Yeah.
camaraderie.
Yeah,
camaraderie.
and I don't like it.
That kind of leads us back to the topic I was going to talk about before my internet blew up. But you guys, you said that hangovers are terrible, right? But you are also going to CNFT con. So with that, you guys will be going hard
Yeah,
there.
you're gonna have to clean us up.
Correct?
We'll give you our room so you can escort us
Yeah.
back at the end.
Well, that's not going to happen at all because I'll be dead like beside y'all, like
You're getting alcohol
passed
poisoning
out,
too,
being
is what you're. That's
20.
good.
Yeah, I'm sure
23.
y'all. One
Yeah,
of the episodes
yeah.
Stutter was talking about being
Ooh.
drunk at like a frat party in college and running and going like Superman head first through a door, like the glass part of a door, just ran and just jumped through it because like why not? So I'm sure he'll be a time.
I have so many stories. Like, my friend group literally started a 501c years ago. So we were a nonprofit and we just called it Degenerates Incorporated. I shit you not, it is still a viable company.
He has a bumper sticker on his car.
Yeah, we have t-shirts for a yearly bar crawl. Like
That's so
we've
funny.
done some crazy shit. Most of my 20s are just a blur of parties.
Good. What is the craziest thing that you've
I
ever
mean, I could
done?
talk about the time that I got a bunch of people expelled from a college here in Pittsburgh, and then got myself arrested and had to do 200 hours of community service and fucked up their entire record department. But I also accidentally
Nice.
drank hotel water down the Dominican once and left the resort without really recognizing it.
This is my favorite story.
I'm going to give you the abridged version just so I don't take all the time with it, but while I'm walking around the streets of just the middle of the Dominican completely alone, doing the one thing they told me not to do, they said don't drink the hotel water and don't leave the resort. I found
He leaves the resort and he's like, "Oh, a fence. My friends are probably on the other side of that. I'm gonna climb this fence to go find them." And
It
he's
happens.
in the middle of the whole Republic.
fucking Americans?
And then I adopted a stray pack of dogs that I named Alpha, Omega, and Tito. Two of them were larger dogs. Omega only had 3 legs, so we had to walk super slow for her. And Tito was a Chihuahua that brought up the rear. And I spent the next 6 hours of my life telling them my life story, and they gave me advice back. And I eventually tried to get them into the hotel, but I couldn't lift them over the gate.
It's a beautiful goodbye.
It was a very long night.
You were just drunk by yourself though, like you were just out there by yourself.
So,
And the dogs, you and the dogs vibing.
Me and the dogs and people of the Dominican.
Just random bypassers are like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
Yeah. Well, that is terrifying, and if I see a Viva out all alone in Las Vegas with a pack of dogs, then I'll
I hope
be
you join him,
careful.
and then you can have a fun story to tell too.
So let me get on all
You'll be the dog.
fours, and I'll be
That's
another dog in the pack. Yeah,
God bless you.
that's what he needed. Let's get into more of our questions. This one kind of goes back to CNFTs, but currently, what is the biggest thing holding the CNFT community back?
You want to answer first if you have anything on the top of your mind?
I mean, I feel like Cardano has been experiencing a lot of like ripped off art and rug pulls recently, so we need to really focus on originality and differentiating ourselves and like building a brand other than come to Cardano, we'll steal your money and rug the project. Like there are good projects out there, but they're not very good at marketing, or they don't have the traction that they need. So in my opinion, I feel like it's finding the existing projects that are already doing well, but like not taking off the way that they should, and lifting them up, and building up like smaller artists and up and coming projects that are working hard, and seeing the value in those and building them up. Like I feel like we just FOMO and ape into all these garbage projects, and if we were a little bit smarter with our money, we could probably develop better as a blockchain.
True.
I would say
Yeah.
it's twofold. One, it's a product of time, because Ethereum had NFTs for 4 years at this point. They have the larger market cap and the more mature audience. When you talk about rug pulls, there were 23 million NFTs sold on Ethereum, the majority of which are valuable or complete rugs. I think someone put out a stat, there was only 164 ETH collections that are holding a 1 ETH floor naturally, that are full-size collections. They have the same problems. The issue is everyone knows Ethereum. It's very easy to access. They have fiat on-ramps in their wallets. They have the ability to use OpenSea relatively simply. Whereas Cardano, we've taken a lot more time to actually build our blockchain. Now, where we're going to differentiate ourselves is when it comes to mass adoption and use cases. When you have this new merge coming for Ethereum, yes, it makes it more energy efficient, but over the span of time, there's nothing that's really going to justify less cost of transaction when the network's incredibly congested until they at least do a couple more upgrades. And then secondly, scalability is still an issue. So when that adoption curve comes, when everyone has to pivot into crypto, Cardano already has ways to scale, ways to make sure that people can onboard. We have a stable coin in Jed and Caudy coming out, which then makes more people attracted just to come to our blockchain to trade in general. There are massive portions of the market that we have no access to right now. So I think between Cardano upgrading and really proving what it can do as a blockchain, and just a product of time in allowing the markets to scale, I would not want to be in another blockchain long term over Cardano as an L1, in my opinion.
You guys see him playing with his fidget toy while he's talking?
Yeah.
Kind of do, but it's okay.
Yeah, this
Both
stress ball
T
every
and I are
episode.
doing the
Fidget toy.
same. But I kind of agree with that, because this blockchain, like long term, is because it took so long to make, and there's so many papers to be built up and built up and built up, and it wasn't just like pushed out and then blew up. Because of that long term, this to me, of course, is the best option
It's all
that
about
there
the
is out
peer-reviewed
there.
Cappers, right?
If you think about, because
Yeah.
kind of like the middle child between those two is people always talk about Solana as being like the next big NFT competitor and or L1 blockchain competitor. Solana is super fast and it's very affordable to use. It's been down 9 times so far this year. And the reason why it's so fast is the fact that Visa does 12,500 transactions per second. With 12,000 transactions per second, they do that. They're a centralized fucking organization. They can press those through. Solana is very fast because 18 fucking people run it. And eventually, you're going to hit the same problem Luna Terra did, where you have 7 people on their LFG council that underestimate what they need to do to make this scalable for everyone else. Hodgkin said in his own words, making transactional throughput is easy. Making decentralized transactional throughput that cannot be disturbed is incredibly difficult. And that's what we have. And over the course of time, that's where the true value is, because those VCs or anyone that can make money on running the nodes or being the validators or owning the majority of the chain, they're going to take advantage of everyone the same way they did in traditional business. That's why they are in our market. They're not in it to give their fucking power away. And I would say that Cardano is kind of the flagship cryptocurrency that isn't here for the power.
And you can tell because it did go from 20 cents to 50 cents to $3, but it didn't go from $3 to $200. So it doesn't have the backing that Solana does, but that's good because the people getting into Cardano, they are not just doing it because monetarily that's the best option, but technology wise, to you guys, it's the best option for long term.
One last point, Cardano even being where it's at now, there's more Cardano staked in market cap, just the 74% staked, than Solana's entire market cap. So at the end of the day, whether Cardano was 30 cents when it was $3 and today, always about 70 to 75% of the network is staked. And it's liquid. So it's not like it's staked because I'm like, shit, I put it in, it's a Chinese finger trap and I can't pull it out. 75% of that, or tens of billions of ADA, are staked in the network by choice. And those individuals are voting with their Cardano to secure the chain with 3,188 stake pools. That is a very powerful statement in millions of people that came together to secure where we're currently at. So, it's whether it's a product of price in US dollars, if I can use Cardano to buy a service or utilize a protocol or to get somewhere anywhere in this world, and one of you guys or someone else will accept Cardano as a payment, then I don't give a fuck what it's priced in US dollars. If I that is how I transact.
So other than buying NFTs, have you guys ever bought anything in crypto?
I haven't.
Oh.
I can barely work a computer, so it says a lot for me to be here to begin with. I'm doing my.
Well done.
Wow.
Well done.
Well done. Well done. You have.
I would say a good example is even we have a couple helium miners that I've set up around the city, and I paid for those in crypto. So
that's cool.
Nice.
So
what
helium,
are those?
If you look up on CoinMarketCap, I believe right now it's 60 on the list of cryptos in terms of market cap, but it's essentially a mesh network, which just means you and a bunch of other people run these routers and they ping back and forth, and you create sort of a consensus network and receive HNT or helium token for doing so. But if you think about sort of in Cardano terms, World Mobile Token, if you're familiar with that and how they're distributing it to kind of develop a way to communicate and to establish the ability to, let's say, hey, you know what, crypto does become incredibly powerful and it's adopted, and then Verizon and Comcast and everyone says fuck you and they turn all the satellites off. Like, you have to be able to establish a mesh network or some way to provide, means of communication back and forth to each other. Now, whether or not they'll be successful over the, long term, I can't say. But what I do know is the rewards have consistently come in over the last year and a half from them, and they've been really, really good. So that's just one example of things.
Nice. Kind of going on the Degen side after Viva told us that he's doing this big thing. Last year, I ended up buying a porn with a Litecoin, so I ended up doing that.
Am I mishearing you?
Yes, because they make it so easy to anonymously buy a porn. So I'm I just bought $1,000 worth of a Litecoin. Might as well do something with $30.
And you sold Litecoin. So you just could have bought a bunch of porn.
You could have bought porn. Yeah, utility. That's utility.
You could have bought You could have bought a 30-day browser's membership, but you just wasted all of that. Wasted all of it.
I wish I would have known that I could buy porn with
Yeah, now everybody knows.
Well, now you do.
Damn it.
You can buy porn.
Missed the bus on that one.
Thank God.
Fuck.
Really did. T, Ken,
yeah. This is our last CNFT question, and then we're gonna move on to some other stuff. But I wanted to know, what is a sleeper project in the CNFT space to you? So, what is a project that probably doesn't get a lot of hype or recognition, but that you really like for one reason or another?
I'm gonna answer this on my own.
Yeah. Here he comes.
My answer is Pneumonium.
Okay.
Nemo doesn't do a whole lot of Twitter Spaces and that kind of advertising. You kind of get into Pneumonium and then you're enveloped in the ecosystem and you get the updates from there and you pay attention to his Twitter for the most part. But it comes across as very closed off, and I feel like if you're not told about it, you don't look into it. But Pneumonia is doing incredible things, and I highly recommend looking into them if you're not.
What kind of are some of those big things that they're doing?
I'll break that down. So in the 2-minute TLDR for Pneumonium, so when we started it, Nemo started it. I just came on early on with the team, and I'm kind of the vocal person in Spaces and trying to coordinate everyone else. But it's a combination of an ecosystem, which is everyone else, including right now we've worked with about 30 different artists. Everyone has dropped pieces from Cardano artists like Fauna, all the way through Ethereum artists coming over like Natalie Shao. We got the Shapes drop coming up. It's to establish a way to celebrate artists and to put out original content that they can create and we can appreciate, but also functionally build out a DAO within it. And it was the same time all these other DAOs popped up, right? And everyone's, looking at, who they are. I'm not going to mention them by name. But part of the problem is if you have a DAO and all you do is you purchase blue chip art and then you hit an 18-month bear market, good luck. You're completely illiquid. And it creates a lot of problems. So the DAO is supposed to be the financial engine that supports the community and builds up the artists to be able to create. So we had...
Really, on the DAO subject, I feel like the mindset behind Pneumonium is very similar to Cardano in that we wanted to make sure we were doing it correctly. It wasn't the first one to make a DAO and get that profit coming in was the winner. There was a lot of thought behind that and the legality of it all, and that's why it hasn't come to fruition on that part yet, because we're making sure everything is correct before we come out with it. And I appreciate just the same way that I appreciate Cardano. I would rather have something built right once than invest in it thinking that it's going to be the next big thing, and then the technology's not there, or the legal aspects aren't there, or whatever. Like, I would rather have that peace of mind putting my money into something that, like, this is done correctly than this is the first mover's advantage, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And beyond that, when you talk about functional metrics, we partnered up with a new and up-and-coming minting service right when they first came out to be their premier partner. So anything new that they come out with, we get to test. And it turns out that was Ada Anvil at the time. So whether it was mobile minting and their dApp, we had the first access to Eternal dApps. We just launched their new staking protocol where all your assets remain within sort of that protected ecosystem. They have a million and one things that they're working on. So we have what I believe to be the strongest minting partner in all of Cardano, being our premier partner to test out any new tech that they come out with. We've had like 14 separate drops from about 25 combined total artists, and every single drop up to this point is above mint price, which just goes to show across thousands of people the values there, not only from a sale or resale perspective, but people find use for the community in themselves. And one of our biggest focus, it was like, having a community. How many Discords have you been in where literally it's just a bunch of people, and every now and then people will just say, hey, what's up, or when's the mint, or what's the date?
A quick good morning. A quick good morning.
Too many.
What we wanted to do was focus on mobilizing the community. And Nemo's very, very good at finding people's talents and then pushing them to create something, or, pushing Fart to make designs and to start like getting out there with their art, even more so than me, because I could say, but it comes off as bias, like, oh yeah, you can do this, but when he starts pushing you, or me getting back into making content, or we have people that write proposals, we have a stake pool with about 1 million ADA within it that produces blocks and passive income. There's a lot of people that have found sort of their voice and their passion within it, and that isn't even scratching the surface of, once everything's established, our new website with Pneumonium World and the gamification of it, collectibles, bringing over additional Ethereum artists. It's just getting started. And the other project that I think a lot of people write off because it's also a little difficult to understand, I have the honor of working for both of them, is I also work for FET and Demon Hit Squad. So Angel Baby Hit Squad and Demon Hit Squad. It's another one of those projects where it gets misconstrued a lot. What's the point of making an ETH project? This hasn't sold out yet. You have these airdrops. I saw some big thread today talking about like what the price is worth and whether it's sustainable. That at the end of the day, anyone that I work with, what?
Who cares about the floor price? It was funny.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, you want to find people, whether it's in a project leader, in a development team, in a minting service, you want to find people that are pushing the entire space forward and doing something differently, even in concept, even if it's misunderstood at first. They continue to gain traction, and they continue to have people come into the ecosystem, even at a time when everything else is barely managing to keep 60% of its all-time high in what its value is. So that's what I look for, and then I double down on the same principles why I got into Cardano.
There's so many like Cardano people being like, oh, we're going to bridge the ETH gap and bridge the Cardano gap, but to see somebody like that and see what he's actually doing, where that's the biggest focus, that blows my mind, because there's so many other projects out there that say, oh, we are going to do that eventually, but he's actually doing that. So for people to be like, low floor, why? That to me is such a bad attitude when every floor is low. So it's a like
Well, it's a difficult
Why?
road to navigate, and you got to think people can't even have conversations in the community. Not even project leaders, but just community members. You can't talk about Cardano, Solana, and Ethereum in a tweet without people literally motherfucking each other within like 2 tweets on that thread. To be able to step out and work in multiple different areas and start bridging the gap. Like, oh, well, why isn't it perfected in 1 year when literally people can't even have a mature conversation about it? It's just before its time, but the concept will hold strong and that value will be there. And I would say, like, anyone that's trying to do something different like that, they have my full vote of confidence. They have my full investment. I will put my energy behind the shit that they're doing because, again, that is the value proposition of this stuff. You cannot have like your utility be, okay, well, we'll just sweep the floor every day for the next 600 days. If that's your utility, like, oh, I spent $5,000 and I get to buy your fucking merch, like, that isn't utility. Like, that, all you're doing is just putting more money in. You have to gain something from it.
I completely agree with that, and because there's like so little ways to build utility currently, like seeing people like the Dead Rabbit Society do something that nobody else is doing. That's why they have like such a high floor. That's why they're getting this backing. But there's so little ways to do that during a market like this, where they're not making nearly as much. But then when people actually flood in, then that will make it all better, all worth it. But Big T, do you want to
okay, so now we're just diverging away from like CNFT stuff, so we've got like a good hour of that. So the next topic is, what is the laziest thing that you do? Like, what is something that you do and you're like, damn, that's really lazy that I do that?
You should see this house. Like, nothing is cleaned. I've been working so hard on my project that, like, it's disgusting in here. Like, there's just bottles everywhere and just garbage. Like, it's not unhygienic, but, like, there's just shit everywhere.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till I'm done so I can clean everything. It's awful. And it's lazy.
Yeah.
Like, I walk by the shit on the ground and I don't pick it up. It's fucking lazy. It's another lazy thing.
It's kind of hilarious though, because we are talking about how we are doing all of these things and how busy we are, but because of that, we don't end up like cleaning up our desks before we do a weekly podcast. We don't clean up our house because we are thinking about all of these things that are like so much bigger, but it's so hard to like go back to being like, oh yeah, this is something normal people do, because the lives we live are not normal.
It's so hard to like remember to like take care of yourself when everything's moving so fast and you're watching Twitter and you're watching floor prices and you're in Discords and whatever. Like, it gets to the point where it's 11 at night and I'm like, I haven't showered yet. Like, I need to go to bed at some point and I need to shower. Like, that is a non-negotiable thing for self-care that I need to. Like, all of these things to, like, take care of yourself, like, just fall to the wayside. And, like, I think that we need to start prioritizing that and, like, clip your nails, wash your hair. Like, I
have
good.
But it's so hard.
OCD. I have like such bad OCD that like I have to, like, I'll stay up until like 3 a.m. just to like do the dishes if I haven't done them today. Like, I can't stand like dishes. I don't know. It's not even like necessarily like my office. I feel like I'm like I'll let the office be dirty, but then like certain parts of the house I won't, like the kitchen or like the living room. Like I can't, like I have to vacuum it like all the time and shit like that. But then like office, there's like sticky notes everywhere on my fucking desk. They don't even like, they're not important. There's just shit everywhere.
I love sticky notes. I love lists. I don't think I've folded laundry in a month and a half. We just keep like dumping the one barrel on top of the other barrel and like shifting through it to find what we need. I don't have the fucking time. I can't sit down for an hour and a half and fold a month and a half worth of clothes. I just can't do it. I'm busy. I'll get to it eventually. Yeah. That is low on the totem pole of things.
Yeah. Exactly.
How are you?
Oh man. I would say I'm lazy in my ability to take a break. Does that count? Because you
run like 40 miles a morning.
So I did the math so far in that running challenge because I'm doing 500 miles in 50 days. It was I've spent 2 days and 9 hours on the treadmill in the last 35 days.
That's so crazy.
And
That's so crazy.
Like 54,000 calories.
It's absurd. Like
I mean, so I
human do this.
Yeah. So I ran cross country in high school. So I enjoyed running. I couldn't run now like unless you were chasing me. Like then I'd run, but I can't do it now. I don't know. I feel like running is one of those things. I feel like going to the gym and like lifting weights is a lot easier to like fall out of and get back into than like running. I feel like running is like a very like consistency thing. Like when I ran in high school and into college, it was good because I just did it every day. It was like very usual. But once you stop doing it and you're like, oh, I haven't ran in 3 weeks. I'm going to go run 2 miles. And then like I'm huffing and puffing after 10 seconds. I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah, I have never in my life been able to run for more than like a quarter of a mile before I get a stitch in my side and I'm just hyperventilating. Like I can lift, I can do yoga, I can be on the elliptical, but like fuck running. Nope. I could. Joe's like, oh, do you want to go out and go running? Fuck no, get away from me. I'm never. Stop asking.
So to really clear something up too, I hate running. I do it because it was my least favorite thing to do. And after a year's worth of powerlifting...
I do it because I'm punishing myself.
No.
Because I've been a bad boy.
One thing, especially in this sort of 50-day stint of spending hours a day on the treadmill, that I found sort of cathartic and peaceful is at a certain point, when we talk about being so busy and so overwhelmed, like this isn't my, 1 year mark in this market. Like I've been doing this for almost 6 years. So I'm burnt out beyond burnt out. And on top of that, the longer you go and the more that it is at stake and the more people you have counting on the shit that you do, it becomes very, very anxiety-inducing, but it also is harder to be patient. Like, I already see people that I know just came into this market feeling impatient and being burnt out and being exhausted. I was burnt out before this past bull run even started. So, I have all these feelings of sort of unfounded existential dread because in my head...
He's like Bane in the Batman.
No.
I was born in this, bred by it.
Born in the darkness.
There it is.
But for me,
you didn't know a bull market or a bear market until you were. I don't know the fucking quote. I'm not a DC nerd. Whatever. Sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
But no,
Great.
What I meant by that was, you start to get this feeling of unease. Even if you know what you're doing, just because you're stuck in this entire race of endurance with everyone else. Everyone else in their unease makes you uneasy. I can't speed along the way that the world is turning. I just have to wait for it. So when you have this feeling of almost being crushed on a daily basis by things that are in your control but take so long, having a 2-hour stint of time when physically you're just running and your heart is racing, but not because you're panicking, but because you're exercising, it almost kind of grounds you a bit. You get a lot of that nervous energy out in a way, like all that extra shit that you feel kind of coursing through you every time you check your phone, every time you're looking at an update on your computer. You can just get that out. I found it's incredibly good for me to do that. So that's why I kind of threw myself into some extreme goal, because I know it's not going to kill me, but if I sit around,
it would kill me. It would kill me for sure. I'd be dead.
It's not gonna kill you, but the energy drinks at 7 p.m. That's money.
Yeah, that's a secret to a long time.
Yeah,
I've never felt that.
Nice. So because that's a Viva's lazy thing he does. My little lazy thing is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
TikTok
is
guys.
A fucking brain
Jesus
killer.
Christ. Oh my god, I hate it. So I hate that I do it, and it's the same bullshit content being fed to me.
Funny swipe. Then laugh
that's
again.
So funny. But it's not because it's just dumb bullshit. Like unless it's the Degen report TikTok, then every other thing is just the same recycled bullshit that I've seen over and over and over. But every day I turn it on, and then 2 hours later I'm like, holy shit! I've done nothing.
Audio or
Big love. That's like my toxic trait. Like I walk around the house just singing random like TikTok bits, and my fiance like wants to throw shit at me because I do the same thing, or especially like right before bed, I'll be in the like brushing my teeth singing some random shit, and she's like, "Now I'm gonna lay in bed," and that's all it's gonna like play in my head over and over and over again. Like, why do you do this? So I definitely get that.
Tales theme song stuck in my head.
A classic. Yeah, Dragon Tales is great. I think,
but TikTok is the worst thing, and then because it's not content, because it's like 30.
But have you seen the trick shotting
this.
Have you seen those where dudes throw ping pong balls like off their roof into a solo cup? That's content. That takes a lot of time and effort.
They deserve the.
It's destroying
so
all of our attention spans.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can tell.
Thanks TikTok. I've learned recipes.
A lot of hacks.
Tips.
Yeah.
There's plenty of hacks. I love cooking TikTok. Like the people that make the content, I guess is the word, for cooking TikTok. I fucking love it. It's the best.
It's so great.
Stuff.
I save all those videos and then just never cook. So that's what I do. I'm like, wow, this will be great to cook sometime. Never make it.
But
you gotta cook. It's fun. No rules.
But then you think about the shit it does for people making like long-term content, kind of like what Big T and I do. Then people tune in for 30 seconds and then go, this is boring. It's not a TikTok. So it's like
it ruins people's attention span. Like only having to pay attention for a minute to 3 minutes. Like no one.
Don't ask me to watch a movie. Yeah, don't ask me to watch a movie. I'm 10 seconds in. I'm like, I gotta look at my phone. Like, I got to, right? I can't keep watching this.
It's like, I'm missing stuff. I learned these new cooking tips, but I can't function at a normal 9 to 5. Like, we're just all mentally fucked.
Very broken post-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. COVID really rocked
Thanks,
it.
COVID.
I will say the laziest thing I do, which was also a big Twitter controversy on my Twitter account, is sit to pee. And I will die on that hill that it is great to sit to pee because then I can get another 30 seconds to look at my phone really quick, and then I'm up and I'm out. So I mean, at my home, I'm not doing that in public. I'm not doing that in public restaurants, like at the gas station. Absolutely not. But I'll do it at home so I can look at my phone.
I'll sit down to pee at a gas station.
Wow.
Well, I don't know if you have an option, but
how cringe, Fart. That to me isn't lazy. That's just like comfort.
Exactly.
It took me a
Utility.
long time.
That's utility
Like,
because then I can look at my phone and use the bathroom at the same time. So you don't
No
get
one's
any.
bothered.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think all men would be better for it.
See, I just
But-
walk into the bathroom and rip my vape, and I'm just standing on my phone in the middle of the room. I don't give a fuck.
Dude, it's so funny because I also work in sales, and every time I've been in the office like 4 times, and every time I am in the office, it's like a big event where we all have to be there because like our VPs flew in from the West Coast or something like that, and like over the little cubicles you'll see just like puffs of vapes. I'm like, dude, y'all couldn't walk to the bathroom? Like this is really wild. This is really wild.
Like,
Jesus.
Okay, but moving on from the laziness, I have a very, very good question to ask next, and it is: do you believe in ghosts or like spirits?
Yes. I do.
Not by the traditional definition. I would say that there are probably things that we do not understand, but I would not call them ghosts. I feel like physics and energy tend to have multiple different layers to them, so could be dimensional shifts.
No, I'll call it a ghost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, me.
'Cause I'm like anti-religious.
So I grew up Catholic, and I'm also.
Hey, I grew up Baptist. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm atheist now.
Same. So same
like,
arc. We're doing great.
Great.
We're doing great.
But like in my exploration of myself, I feel like, this is my opinion, we all have souls, right? And when we die, our souls are released. And who's to say that the soul couldn't get trapped on this plane and we see a ghost? Or we fuck off into the universe and go find another planet to be on? Like, my brother, when he was like 2 or 3, he would talk about the old fields, and like it was like he was this little Indian boy, like a Native American boy, and he would tell these stories to my family about the old fields and how he grew up with his other family essentially. And like as he grew up he forgot about that, but like it's fucking weird, and it's hard not to believe in like other lives. But to give Catholicism some credit, stop. This is a fun story.
No.
So my brother also, same brother, when he was like a baby, he was deaf apparently. That like they took him to an ear, nose, and throat doctor. They checked him out. They're like, yep, this kid can't hear shit. Sorry about your luck. So my mom, devout Catholic, she starts praying the rosary every single day with my 2 sisters. I wasn't born yet. I was an accident. I was 10 years later. Praying the rosary every day. And she says this prayer to Saint Teresa to grant her wish to like heal my brother's deafness.
Mm-hmm.
And the tale that goes along with it is like when Saint Teresa answers your prayers, you'll get flowers from this like unexpected source, right?
Yeah.
So they had been praying the rosary. My mom swears that the metal on the rosary turned gold because they were praying so much. I don't believe that, but like, whatever. So he's been deaf for months, can't hear shit, whatever. My oldest sister, they were living in a duplex at the time, and the lady underneath them was this old curmudgeon that never talked to anybody. And she went to like a wedding or a funeral or something, and she got these flowers, and she gave them to my sister. My sister goes into the house, shows my mom. They go into my brother's bedroom and like make a noise, and he like startles himself awake, and he's not deaf now. So I don't know how that worked. Like, I still don't believe in God, but that's fucking weird. And that happened to like my personal family. So who knows what's going on
with God? That to me is like so precise, where it's like, this is God, you need to believe in him. This is our God. There's many other gods out there, but those gods don't exist because our God does exist. So
Yeah.
to me, because they're so different in what they do, there's some religions where there's multiple gods. There's some religions where the god is us. There's so many interpretations to believe that there's nothing out there, that we will die, that whenever we do die, we just die and nothing happens. While that does make sense because there's so many ways out there, maybe there is a way not to die, but to kind of do something else. So to me, to be like, no, we are just going to die, and not explore the other ways to live, then why not like put in that time to be a little like that weird thing happened. There's a bunch of like weird ass Ubers that I've picked up that have been perfect for me and where I am currently at. I told this in a past podcast, but whenever I was burning out on the Cardano community and like building that and doing modding and all of that, I ended up picking up somebody in my Uber that would give me tickets to a massive gaming convention. This guy's the CEO, and there I'd get the idea. Maybe I should kind of go down the content creator path, not the social media influencer, because you don't know fucking shit at all. There's so many people that do little fucking TikTok dances blow up, but they don't know anything more than that. So let me do something that is bigger than just a TikTok dance, a cooking channel, this is what I'm going to do. And
to touch on
that kind of led me on this, and then when I began like doubting myself because of the way I do talk, I'm like, oh my god, can I do this? I ended up picking up so many people that like showed me paths to kind of fix it that not even my pathologist like brought up or told me. So then the next day when I'm like, holy shit, this is my journey, this is me changing, this is me believing in something bigger than me. The next day I ended up Ubering a guy that does YouTube for a job. So it's like, what the shit is going on? Maybe I should keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. And I ended up going to church, and it was about like, these are things people need to go through, but as long as you believe in God, then eventually you will get out of that. And not sure if I believe in that, but as long as you keep on growing and becoming bigger and bigger, then you can overachieve all of these dumb things that do happen. But to say that there's a God out there, that there's a ghost out there, that there's a devil out there that fucking wants me so bad he's like making me buy porn with my Litecoin, that's mind blowing. But to say that there's no ghosts or like things out there is also so close minded, because why would I meet these people which came in at the perfect time for me?
Yeah, and in my beliefs and my whatever, like in my opinion, like I view that as like the universe stepping in, that like you got that initial like introduction to it, and then the next day there was the YouTube person, and then you got that additional validation in church that like in my opinion, the universe is like pushing you towards this journey that you're supposed to be on. And like if you pay attention to the things going on and like the opportunities presented to you, like you can take that and run with it. Like that's the same thing for me with like all of my NFT stuff. Like there were multiple times where I was like, things are just lining up too well right now for me not to explore this. And then to go off of your point about like, this is my God and this is your God and this is their gods. Like I fixed in my phone that anytime I type God, there's a little TM next to it. So it can be whatever. Like, it's trademarked. You can do with it what you want, but like
you said that this is the universe, but what if these people that come up that they are the ghosts, that they kind of are these bigger things that someone kind of like put into our life. So maybe the universe is our God. Like
in my opinion, I feel like it's hard for me to come to terms with the fact that there's like this all-knowing thing looking out for me specifically when like pretty shitty things have happened to me. Like for me personally, like I feel better thinking that there's nothing out there, that like everything that happens and like I can't blame this.
Yeah.
You know, for me at least. That was my like coming to not God moment.
Yeah. Same. I mean, well, not only did I grow up religious, I also went to religious school from the time I was Catholic school for 10 years. From the time I was in kindergarten until I graduated high school. So I went for 12 years. Went to 12 years, and it's like I have a lot of qualms with like organized religion. I think my biggest qualm is the way that people tie their like moral compass or their values in like a secular world to God, and it makes what's the best way to say it? It leads you to a point where if you have any disagreement with that person and they base their like secular values off of what God tells them, then you can't reason with that person, or there's no way to even like interject and make like a good argument, because whatever is telling them is right and wrong, you don't believe in that. So what there's no, it's like a big circular like rhetorical argument where you can't, like, there's no way to come to a conclusion with those people. And I think that's like a really weird way to live. Like, if you don't believe what I believe, then like I can just believe this, and if you don't believe it, fuck you. Like, that's kind of weird. I don't like that idea at all.
That's with kind of everything. Like, everything's a
but not to the same point. Not to the same point. Like, if you think that your morals are your morals because God told you, and if I don't believe in your God, then like, oh well,
you're
then like,
going to hell, bitch. How do you reason
with somebody that way? How do you reason with somebody like that? You can't.
Although it's kind of fucked up, here's how I view it. So my aunt is an oncologist at a children's hospital that treats kids with cancer.
Right.
Now, regardless of whatever God anyone believes in, you have to have the conviction to walk into that hospital and walk into every room and say, hey, who's ever in charge of everything wanted you to die. And
right.
If you think about it, like, not me.
No, you're right.
You. Sorry. Which, it doesn't matter. Hey, it's easy to look in the context of your life. Oh, like, this happened to me or that happened to me, and therefore it's either good or bad, and then lean into it. But just go find someone like terminal stage 4 and stare at them in their face and say, well, I mean, this is supposed to happen to you. Like,
right.
If that is the answer, then even if there is some greater power, then fuck them. Like, that's the way that I view it. But, that's just me looking at it. In that
My big thing that took me away from Gotti initially was my 18-year-old best friend was about to graduate high school, but then she got ran over by a car. She ended up dying. So,
I'm sorry.
but that is part of life, because that shit does happen. So that took me so far away from God, where I'm like, this is the shit I need to do. Then bad shit just kept on coming and coming and coming and coming. but that bad shit led me to a path that I'm now on, where I'm seeing so many good things happen. So I feel like, kind of like Viva said, to say that, well, I just got off the phone with him. My God, he said this needed to happen is so fucking dumb. But to say that say that this is not like something else, that is also very bold to be like, this wasn't supposed to happen, because nobody knows. So I feel safer saying this was something that happened because of this. How do I move on past this? But we should get into our next topic, because we are really enjoying talking.
Yes. So the next topic is the best topic. It is the mock CNFT Hunger Games bit. And I will let the viewers know who the participants in the mock CNFT Hunger Games are, and then what we're going to discuss. So, in a quick list, it's Viva and Fart, myself and Stutter, D-Clay, Connoisseur, Hoskinson, Dean K, Rory, Lucid, Fettuccine, and Crypto Drams. So we are going to, basically everyone's seen the Hunger Games, right? So we're going to say who would die in what order, and then who would win. And then you can give like why someone would die if you want to, but I'm more invested in seeing who dies in what order and who wins.
Let's begin with the biggest losers. Who are the biggest losers in Cardano?
If Charles can't figure out how to like rewire the force field outside of the Hunger Games, like, I have bad news for him. He looks kind of slow, and I think that we can get him.
Okay.
I also feel like he would just try and pull everyone together and try and solve something, and someone's just going to take him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because everybody needs to be that guy that killed Charles.
He got the biggest.
He's
target,
got the
for
biggest
sure.
dick. So we need to take his ass out. So it's fair to say he's at the bottom.
Yeah, I feel like he would be the ceremonial first
Sorry,
pick.
Charles.
Like, I'm sorry, but you've had it good enough. You've had it too good for too long on your ranch.
Fair.
Coming through in the
Got
Hunger
it.
Games.
Fair. Okay, so let's everyone like run down your list, like, so we don't like it takes forever to do like two people. So let's everyone like Viva and Fart, y'all say your whole list in what order, and then we can all like chat.
Well, so Viva thinks that we're gonna be a team.
Oh,
but I'm gonna
Viva.
dip, and I'm gonna do the PETA thing where I just like camouflage myself. But
Yes, in the rock.
My downfall is that I would get bored just pretending to be a rock for like a month. So I would try to like challenge myself and be different camouflaged things. And I feel like I would get got in my like transitional periods. And then we also said who was going to be the team.
Oh, so you were saying
The careers.
it was going to be you, Rory, and Dean.
No, that wasn't the career. The careers were D-Clay, Connoisseur, Fet, and Lucid teaming up to like kill everybody else.
Fuck no.
There's got to be teams.
So,
And in me like breaking off on my own, I would find Roy. Right, me and Roy would be BFFs. We might bring Dean in. We would all hide in a cave somewhere. And Viva said that he would be outside the cave without us realizing it. Like,
so I would have to follow her because I'm like, you're just going to get yourself killed. So I would just follow her at a distance as she just runs away through the woods.
With my
And I would just have to murder everyone. Or at least do my fucking damnedest, even though I'm sure Lucid has some catastrophic plan.
So you
Right.
you say that, but Lucid kind of reminds me of a small dog where he's too busy barking. Then when somebody
Then you kick
like
him.
a big dog comes, like me.
That's why Lucid he had to team up with the other guys because I agree, kind of small dogs.
But you think like Lucid, Con, and Decoy, they'd be a goody enough team because they all to me kind of sound like that they've got more bark than they do bite.
But as a pack unit, like Tito, Alpha, and Omega, I feel like they could do some damage. Also, I'm the only girl in this Hunger Games.
Yeah, it happens that way.
We can add a girl, Bella.
Wow.
I mean, to be honest, I would have to kill her. Just for being a bot.
We have a theory that Bella is actually one of her like social media managers that just runs a page with her photo on it and like runs scam projects.
So I agree with that completely.
So who do you guys have coming down to like the end? Like who's the final boss?
See, I don't want to like make myself a meme, but I feel like I'm very hard to kill.
He's just too stubborn to die. That's what.
That's fair. That's fair.
I have tried to kill myself like just through pure effort alone many times, and it just I don't know.
He's doing it right now. He's running 500 miles. He's doing it right now.
But that could also be the death of him. Because meanwhile, there will be better balanced teams. That's not Decoy, Dean, fucking all these chihuahuas.
Well, that's where you
like
two are the wild cards.
You are.
I at least know a lot of these other people better, so I won't even know how to read your movements. So I don't know if you're hiding or if you're like stockpiling weapons. You're the ones that are essentially.
They're probably
hosting
making
this.
bombs. They're making those like landmines that we'll step on trying to get supplies. They'll take us.
Yeah, but I'm gonna
out
make
for
it be
sure.
like a confetti cannon, so you step on it and it explodes and you get scared and it's just confetti. That's what I want to do.
Then
I want to toy with people.
Then we recruit you on to our team because nobody can fucking read us. See?
You're right. I'll abandon
See?
Roy and join you guys.
I would say, although I think I could make it down to like.
I think Dean would kill Viva.
I
Why?
mean, it could certainly happen.
Listen, Dean went from this unassuming clay PFP to his like unassuming introverts PFP.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
very bland.
He just has like soft boy energy. I feel like he would just sneak up on Viva and fucking murder him.
I don't know. I would say anyone has the opportunity to take me out by being just innovative and coming up with something. What I would prefer is everyone gets in a single file line and we just go one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat all the way down the line. Because I feel very confident.
That's his comfort zone. Like he's confident in that kind of fight.
This is not the. This is not
No sneak attack with my
UFC.
bear.
This is the
It's the
motherfucking
Hunger
Hunger Games.
Right. So that's why I'm saying now it's just a complete wild card. Someone might just catch me completely off guard, or there's a very good chance that I just she calls me, one of my nicknames is Stump because I'm incredibly uncoordinated.
He just like I've described this as like imagine a stump, like a tree stump, just hurling through time and space with no regard for anything around them. That's how he got that name.
So we don't exactly need to do a list, but let's just say their likelihood to survive in the Hunger Games. So,
wait, I worked very hard on mine. I have a whole Word document of my scenarios. I worked very hard.
Read it.
Go.
Go for it.
Okay, all right. I'll do a good summary, right? So there's like I think in all there's 12 of us, right? So if you've seen the real Hunger Games, some people just die right off the rip. Like they're running in, they get got, they die off the rip. So I'm starting off. I'm dying right off the rip. Yeah, I'm getting got off the rip. I have vertigo, so I'm gonna get real dizzy real quick. So I'm going. I'm gonna start running. Shit's gonna start moving around. I'm out of there. I'm an easy target. I think Khan also gets got right off the rip. Because if you listen to the podcast with us,
thought that he would last a lot longer.
well, if you listen to the podcast with us, Khan was talking about how he got literally like the 2 days before the podcast, he got so blackout drunk that he woke up at somebody's house and he didn't know where he was. And apparently, like these 3 women that lived together literally found him stumbling down the side of the road, and they
Side of a
took him home
mountain.
to sleep because he was
Fucking
at some
Alps.
like rave or something like that in the Alps and was like lost. So I feel like Khan doesn't make good decisions. So I feel like off the rip he'll trip and fall, and then he gets got too.
Yeah.
So Hoskinson's old. He gets got off the rip.
He's not old. He's like.
And then I think someone
30.
has to just die in the crossfire, like randomly, like not even like meaning to. So I think Roy just gets hit because someone's got to get hit. So then he goes. And then I think Viva and Fart do team up. I think they said they won't, but they do. And then let's see, who do I have next? I think Dean and Lucid team up to like troll people. I think the two of them team up to troll people. I think Fett tricks Drams into whaling into some berries, but then they're poison berries, so he dies easily. He's out of there. Fett tricks him to whale into. What'd you say?
Drams wasn't on our list. I'm looking at it.
Oh fuck! I must have missed him at the very end. Sorry about that. Well,
I do agree with you. It would just be like, look at all these berries. It just take all of them.
Right. Yeah. So then.
We need some sugar.
Yeah, I think Stutter dances shirtless and starts singing really loud, which kind of confuses D-Clay, and then he falls into a hole and dies. Then I think this is where it all comes down. I think it's a big battle that ensues at the end. I think it's Fart and Viva, Lucid and Dean K. They go up against each other. I think you get got by one of the two in the spat of things. I think Viva beats both of them. And then the final 3, that's Fett, Stutter, and Viva. And then I think that basically they all get pushed to the middle by like the fires and shit that they put out in the Hunger Games. And then what happens is Viva just starts running so long that everyone just gets gassed trying to get him. You know what I mean? He runs 10 miles a day. Everyone gets gassed out, and then it's an easy fight. Viva wins. That's how I played it out. And that was my take.
You don't want to live without me, though. Is the better.
Well, no, I would win to avenge you.
Aww.
Yeah,
at that point.
He's got to.
And then they teleport you up, and you just fall on your knife because you don't want them to have a winner.
Romeo and Juliet, like.
Then he eats the berries. He eats the berries.
I end this.
Fair.
That was part of the hard part for me. I'm looking at this, and I was like, I will just run for 3 days straight. I don't need to eat. I don't need to sleep. I will just square up with
Viva
anyone.
would kill himself before.
No bangs. No bangs.
But I think if it's a foot race, he wins every time. Like if people are chasing him, no one's catching him. The endurance is just going to win out.
I think Dean would get me. With his pie hate and his blue cheese love, Dean would get me.
Fuck blue cheese. Mitch loves blue cheese, and I hate blue cheese.
So maybe me and Dean would like hook up. We'd become the boys, and then
the blue cheese boys,
the blue cheesers. The blue cheesers, and we
the BCB
cheese the shit out of y'all.
Imagine walking down an alleyway and just seeing the blue cheese boys coming up.
You smell them before you see them.
Covered in blue. Just like
ew.
Just coming at you in a dark alleyway.
Dude,
but
that's so gross.
Honestly, that is terrifying.
We'd be like the Blue Man group, just like banging on shit.
Yeah, that's intimidating. I wouldn't want to fuck fuck with you.
But that kind of makes sense, and I'm very happy I am made the top 5. But
Yeah,
you did. You made top 3.
Awesome.
You made top 3. I think it's just because like I feel like. Wait, what happened?
Fart was also
Hey.
top 5.
Yeah, she was top 5. Yeah, she was top 5.
top.
I had to be honest with myself. The vertigo would get me way before anything else did. Like, I'd just get dizzy. Like, I wouldn't want to fight. There's no reason to. Like, I'd rather
The
just.
thing is, you put me and Viva in there together, and I know that he would lie on train tracks for me. So I'm like, I think I'm good. Like, I need to
Yeah, you're
separate
good.
myself from
You just climb up a tree and leave Viva at the bottom just to ward off all attackers. Yeah, easy play.
I'll possum. Just hanging out inside a tree, and he's like,
See, I didn't know that for the last 17 years of my teenage and full adult life, I was training to battle people in the Hunger Games, but it's definitely going to pay off.
I mean, this is a hypothetical situation, but we are getting there.
No, I mean, it would be something like I would genuinely be excited for it. I probably wouldn't enjoy it in the moment, but it just like that adrenaline would hit and I'd black out and wake up the winner, and I would have to go and represent people in like Diet Coke commercials or whatever winners of the Hunger Games do.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
elites.
Diet Coke commercials.
Diet Coke winners. Perfect.
So our next topic that we can talk about is, so if you go to jail for anything, what would you most likely get arrested for?
Assault and battery.
So has it happened before?
No, I have beat some ass before.
Beat some
but,
ass. Hell yeah.
Never to where I got arrested for it. I have been arrested for beating my own ass incredibly intoxicated, and I woke up in a hospital. But technically, that was for my own sake.
No one beats his ass better than him.
Nope, I'm the only person that can beat myself up.
There you go.
But that would probably be it. But it wouldn't be anything that I would instigate. I'm always a reactive type of person. Like, I love people until someone does something to someone around me, and then I'm like, okay, now we're gonna step in. You never start a fight that you have 100% permission in.
I'd
Right.
probably go to prison for treason if I had to put my money on
Treason?
anything.
Oh, treason, like espionage.
Oh shit.
She's selling government secrets.
Fuck them.
Oh god, that's a sore topic in today's news cycle, isn't
Or
it?
like Grand Theft Auto, like for fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, just get bored. I'm
What?
gonna go like jack this Bentley. Let's go.
Well, I mean, you almost had a little run-in with the law. Well, you did have a run-in with the FBI, right?
I did.
Why?
Do you guys have time
Yes.
for that story?
Yes.
So I was working at my previous job. I worked at a jewelry store. We did like custom jewelry, whatever. And it's like 2016, 2017, political climate is a little not great. And I tweet from, I mean, I didn't have Fart at the time, so it's my personal account. I tweet from my personal account, Eric Trump is so ugly. Change your face or I'll change it for you. And I'm like quoting Step Brothers, like the scene
Yeah.
where they're interviewing.
Yeah.
So I tweeted that, not thinking anything of it. Because he is ugly. It's not
Yeah.
my
He's
fault.
very ugly.
So
Very.
ugly, like the ugliest dude. So I'm sitting at my job, and this uniformed policeman and this dude in a full suit comes up, and I have to like buzz them into our building. And they walk up to me and they go, "Are you government name?" And I go, "Yes, that is me." And they go, "Do you go by Homeless Terry on Twitter?" And I'm like, "Yes, actually." The week before that, my Twitter name was Murderous Bitch because I was defending abortion and somebody like called me that. So I was like, fuck it, let's just go with it. Switched it back to Homeless
Thank
Terry.
God.
Thank God. Thank God. So they're like, yeah, so we have a few questions for you. So they sit me down and they're like, so we have this tweet, we want you to explain it. And I'm like, this is a quote from Step Brothers. Like, I'm not
Right.
going
Go
to try
jail.
to whatever. I'm not a threat. And they're like, yeah, we just wanted to make sure you weren't going to drive to New York and, like, try to harm the president's son. And I'm like, honestly, I would have drove to D.C. Thank you for the heads up. Like, I had no idea where he was. They searched my car for weapons. They needed 3 character witnesses. Like, it was the most absurd thing for a tweet quoting Step Brothers.
Thank God.
And, like, once the Step Brothers thing, they laughed about it. And they're like, yeah, we have to look into these things.
That's ridiculous.
But, like, that's your tax dollars.
That's why I was literally about to say, thank God our tax dollars get used well. Thank God.
Yep.
So, yeah, treason, probably.
Yeah, treason.
Because you beat up the president's son. That is it.
If I see him in a dark alleyway and I'm dressed like Blue Man's Group, all bets are off.
Fair.
What about you guys? What would be your prison
Big
sentence?
T.
I'm going to let Mitch go. No, Mitch, you go first.
You sure, man?
Yeah.
So as you guys can tell, when I drink anything, I pee like 7 times. So because of that, mine would probably be like peeing on a tree.
Peeing in public, like public indecency. Public indecency.
I've peed on a church before, and I was in a full body onesie and had to unzip it, take a leg out of it, and piss on this church while completely blacked out.
Why were you blacked out at a church?
Outside when I'm turned. I'm right there with you, Stutter Boy. We can hold hands while we're peeing outside when we're drunk.
I've been caught like 4 times peeing in public.
Your dad was a cop.
Yeah, but I've never gone to prison.
You're like, oh, this is my last name. And they're like, oh, your dad, chief of SWAT. You're good.
Well,
see ya, kid.
See ya, kid.
Well.
He's like, oh, I've done this plenty of times and I never got caught.
No, but
very different circumstances.
Yeah, but public urination isn't like an arrestable offense. Now, if you are like completely obliterated, then you might get arrested for public intoxication. You probably have a higher likelihood of that unless you pee on a playground. And then you're going to wind up on some type of list.
So this is not me telling my FBI agent, but I may or may not have done that a elementary ground when it was a Saturday.
As long as there weren't kids out there, because if there were kids out there, then you're going to the big house for that one.
But that's like part of being a Uber. Is you either just pee in your car or you drive to a public
pull
park.
over.
Just wait till they have the upgradable Tesla where just the urinal opens up on your lap and then you can just pee directly into your car.
But if you're in like a long ride, it's going to smell like piss in your car the whole way. It's going to be disgusting.
You just miss and you piss all over your
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that just doesn't seem worth it to me.
Maybe.
I don't know. If I went to...
Maybe.
Pants off. Like, how do you just... When you're driving...
Oh, well, it's the AI technology.
Oh, I'll just put on my self-driving while I...
First you put on your AI dick holder, then it opens up so you can just keep on driving and it's like holding your dick and maybe pulling on it a bit.
When your dick for you while you pee?
Someone tweet that.
When will technology get there?
Yeah, that's the next tweet.
God, just imagine he made that company to solve like global warming problems, and we're just like, win dick holder.
I need Elon Musk to hold my dick while I pee in my Tesla. Tyler,
if I
thing is going on the console,
while you're watching like a Netflix movie while you're driving, it's just straight freedom. That's freedom. If I went to jail for anything, it would probably be like tax fraud or like tax evasion, because it's not that.
God damn it! I was just about to say, hey, none of us said tax
because
evasion.
It's not that I'm averse to like.
That's a boring answer.
Well, no, but my thing is, it's not that I'm like averse to paying taxes, nor am I like I have like any qualm with it. I'm just really lazy, right? So, like, if I'm doing this shit and, like, I can't figure it out, I'm just going to skip step and just hope it lets me pay online and, like, doesn't send me back to, like, a red highlighter. What?
I just imagine...
Doing your taxes was your lazy thing?
Yeah, I always do it on like what's the shit online, like not Rocket Mortgage, TurboTax. But I know like I do that wrong. And this year I'm getting a CPA because my buddy said that he did his TurboTax. He works like the same job I work. He said that they said he owed $3,000 on TurboTax, and he went to a CPA and only ended up owing $200. So there's some hack that I don't know about, but I'm not doing TurboTax anymore because I'm not taking advantage.
They fucked me in the past. They're not a good service.
And
whatsoever.
I mean, I'm sure you both know, working like in a I'm assuming you both work like commission-based jobs too. The working commission-based job, taxes fucking suck. They suck so bad.
Well, and then on top of that, one thing that I know for a fucking fact in CNFT that people don't take into account is every CNFT purchase, every CNFT sale, you have the taxable income on whatever you bought Cardano at. Then you have the purchase of the NFT and then the sale of the NFT. Those are all still applicable to capital gains. So do you think that everyone sat there with their hundreds of CNFT transactions and added that up if they weren't paying attention to it?
No, they can just seize my JPEGs for collateral if I get in trouble.
Yeah, but here's my portfolio. It's only down 90%.
Yeah, here's my ledger. You can just have it. You can have it, and then I'll buy it back. Thank you. Like, that's not happening. Okay,
so,
well, are we going to go into the...
Yes.
Okay, you take it away, Stutter Boy.
The last thing we're doing is a bit of a relationship game. So you guys have been dating maybe a year, maybe a bit more. Me and Tyler, we've been doing a podcast for maybe a month. So I'm pretty sure Tyler and I know each other better than you guys do. So this last game segment is a relationship game where we see how close do we really know our partner.
Yeah.
I love it.
So do you guys think you'll do better than we will, or?
I think you're gonna crush us, but we'll see.
I mean, I see the bond that you two have, and this is a very high
It's
bar
unbreakable.
set.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's funny because we literally everything he likes, I hate. Everything I like, he hates. But we get along. It's a great time. He likes blue cheese. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by that.
He likes ranch. Who the fuck likes ranch?
Dude, I'll drink ranch. I'll drink it straight up out of a solo cup. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
I have heard that before. I have drank ranch for.
Oh yeah,
I made $10.
Hey, it's worth it. It's worth it.
But
all right, Mitch, you take it away.
So for the first question, people might often talk about their favorite movie, but we are asking, what is your least favorite movie?
What is your partner's least favorite
movie?
When you said favorite movie, all I thought was Armageddon,
It's
and
such
it's
an
all I can
incredible
think
movie.
about now. Oh, what was that terrible? We just watched a really, really bad movie.
Oh, it was that new one with Kevin Hart and.
Oh, it was
Mark
so
Wahlberg.
bad. It was on
one of
Netflix.
these-
Is it really? I really wanted to watch it this week, so I'm glad I'm not gonna watch it.
It's
Well,
Okay.
Like,
Not worth it.
It's like not even so bad that it's funny. It's just bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna answer Twilight for Joe, but
Joe?
I can't confirm.
Joe,
Viva.
is that the worst movie you've ever seen?
I would say it's definitely up there. That is a very good
Yeah.
guess. Like half of the time when we try and watch stuff, we're never like, "Hey, do you want to see the worst movie of all
Let's
time?"
put
that
on
I've
the
ever
worst
seen?"
movie we've ever seen.
Yeah. This is a hard question to start with. This is a hard one out the gate.
No, it's not. It's so easy.
See, this is tough for me to answer only because Fart's movie appreciation is so awful that when it came to, we were in Disney when we were out in California, and we walked into the Millennium Falcon ride, and she just looks at me and she's like, "Where we're going, we don't need cars." And I'm like, "It's Back to the Future." Like, you're just misconstruing
So
the entire
close.
movie.
So close.
It was close. It was close.
I said it with such confidence incidents too. We were walking past the Millennium Falcon, and I'm like walking 5 steps in front of Viva, and I completely stop, and I turn with my arms on my hips, and I said, "Where we're going, we don't need roads." And he just puts his hand in his head, like
shame. The shame he felt.
So, like,
it is what it is.
Just with that type of response, I almost want to say Star Wars.
I've never seen Star Wars.
So that's how the fact that you don't even watch. There's 5 animated series, 3 entire trilogies. It is one of the most well-known series, and you don't even look in that direction. Oh, what? Are you going to show Baby Yoda? This is as close as she gets to appreciating Star Wars.
Aww. Baby Yoda.
It is cute. It is cute.
So,
any other designs?
So have you seen the Mandalorian, or are you just another white girl talking about Baby Yoda?
I love Baby Yoda. What's a Mandalorian? I don't know her.
Okay, so
but yeah, I watched the Baby Yoda show and it was fantastic.
I'm going to say I'm going to say Star Wars just for the fact that she has no interest in even watching it whatsoever.
Can kind of relate to that. So a long time ago, I remember Tyler talking about how he hated the Avatar, the Last Airbender movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah, that's an easy one.
Terrible.
So that's
It is a horrible movie.
That's
they call it Aang Ong. Why? Why would you do that? There's 4 seasons for you to reference. Why are you changing the name now?
because it's the live action. So they didn't pay to call him Aang. So it's Ong.
That ain't right.
That's a good one.
That is a good answer.
Okay, so Mitch has a thing about penguins, but it's a love-hate. So I'm gonna say, what is that stupid movie? March of the Penguins.
Oh, I
the
hate
documentary movie. March
It's
of the
so
Penguins.
fucking boring. It's like let's look at penguins for 6 hours. It's so boring. My attention to watching March of the Penguin, maybe like 2 minutes and maybe a 30-second TikTok, but fucking like 17 hours. Holy shit! That's a good guess though. But I do like penguins, but I don't like how boring they are. Also,
They are
fuck birds.
like they just sit on the
Fuck
legs
birds.
and, like, they can't even
They-
fucking fly. I agree.
Fuck
with
birds.
Mitch thinks we talked to Max from Universe, and we had a thing about who could fight, like what's the biggest animal you could take in like a cage fight, and Mitch said any bird, any bird,
fucking
not
bird.
just
Bald-
not just like a but he's saying that
Bald eagle,
he's saying he's taking
swans. Fuck.
Like a fucking harpy? Are you out of your mind?
That's-
You see the claws?
A California condor with a wingspan
A
of 10 feet.
California
Fuck that.
condor. My
he said he's gonna just
wingspan is
grab it
30
out of the
feet.
air. So that's his thing with.
Grab it by its wings. Go. They are completely fucked. They're like, oh no, my wings are gone.
They have beaks. They'll peck you.
Now I can't like just like dive in, and because birds are pussies, they.
The people that handle like those falcons have to wear like a 2-inch thick
up their
leather glove.
arm. Up their arm.
That's because they're not doing their best to beat the shit out of them.
They dive at like 250 miles
Then
an hour.
break their
Listen.
wings.
They're third of the speed of a bullet.
Break.
With claws.
All right, so now you see where Mitch lies on birds and penguins.
Fucking penguins.
Okay. Anyways, all right. So the next question is, what is your partner's biggest pet peeve about you?
Viva hates that I don't do the dishes in the sink because I'm lazy. That would probably be yours.
Viva?
I would say when I set 4 to 5 alarms 4 hours before Ford has to wake up, and they wake her up and not me, and then she has to wake me up, and then I fall back asleep and then keep going off.
I want to kick him in the teeth when that happens. It makes
That's
me
rough.
so angry.
So is that
You know how you
y'all's
settled this?
biggest pet peeve?
Did we get it right? That's up there for me.
Yeah, I would say
Tyler?
But you can settle this with getting one of those alarm clock like not a carpet, it's like a pad on the floor, and you can't turn it off until you. Well, never mind. I was thinking that would make Viva get up, but that would just make Fart get up and walk on the other side of the bed and stand on it. So so never mind.
So once she has the height, she's just dropping the elbow.
Yeah. She's got the height, and it's straight for the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tyler's biggest pet peeve of mine is that sometimes I'll talk politics, and we both know that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
And I love politics. Like I read books on it. Like I love it. So and he'll start talking about something. That's probably up there. That really irks my soul when you do that.
We talked in a past podcast like, what do we hate the most? And Tyler was like, people that have no idea what they're talking about, but they just like talk. So that's me whenever I even like mention politics. Tyler?
Yeah. Mitch is gonna say probably how I never like answer when he either texts me or call me. It's always like 5 hours after he needed something that I like text him or call him back.
And I always leave a voicemail.
He leaves voicemails. Who in their 20 leaves people voicemails?
Hello, Tyler.
Like at work,
You have to get
He's just begging you. Like,
but
if
it's
you
like,
listen to this, you know you're a piece of shit.
dude, no, but like the last one he left me, he was literally driving in the car, like getting ready to Uber, and he was like, "Holy shit, I gotta piss, bye," and then just hung up the phone. Like, why? Like he just leaves me, or sometimes they're 5 minutes long about like a tangent. Like he just had a thought for the podcast, so he's just gonna like go on and on and on about something. Then I'm like, "All right, bye," and just hang up.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I wish Boy would send me voicemails. I would listen to them.
He also stays up until like 5 a.m. So he'll text me at like 4 a.m, like I'm awake, or he'll call me at like 12 p.m. when he wakes up and I'm in the middle of like a work meeting on Zoom, so I can't answer.
Tyler,
when he tries to contact me,
you?
is not ideal.
Yeah.
Not by our significant others.
It's because
Yeah.
I don't live
Okay.
a normal life, but that's probably up there. Tyler?
What?
Next
Oh,
one.
I thought we were alternating, but I can do it. That's fine.
No.
Okay, this one is, what is your partner's favorite cuddling position?
Well, yours is laying on your side, left-hand side, nuzzling yourself back into me, but then consistently, like a scuttle crab, just shuffling, and shuffling. Pin me back to the couch.
Yeah. I do like to pin him back. I mean, I feel like you like to be the big spoon, and we both like. We have anxiety, so like laying on top of the other person for like some weighted blanket effect.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we both enjoy that, but definitely big spoon, little spoon. What is your favorite?
So although Tyler lives in North Carolina and I live in Texas, Tyler loves when I'm the bigger spoon. He's a big fan
Correct.
of that.
I like being Little Spoon. That's correct.
Then
Little Spoon is literally, it's so underrated. It's so underrated being Little Spoon.
that,
But it also just
so.
yeah. It's just you don't get it a lot, but it's nice. It's a nice thing.
Tyler being known as Big T, nobody ever lets him be the little
Yeah.
boy. But me, my arms are like 10 feet long, so I'm like basically a bird. But because of that, like I can wrap my arms around him like 10 times, so I become that like whole blanket. So
Yeah, have you seen like in the Incredibles, whatever the mom's name is, Miss Incredible, where her arms just go flying out? Yeah. Elastigirl. Yeah, that's stutter.
And I'm just as thick. Next one is so partner's least favorite food.
Viva hates tomatoes. Anything
Let's
involving
go!
Tomatoes or cucumbers.
Cucumbers are bomb.
But like, won't eat pizza, won't eat pasta.
They
Like,
just
ketchup's a no-go.
tomatoes taste like shit.
They're
I
water
love
balloons.
tomatoes.
They're just water balloons. No flavor, no nothing. You just bite into it and it explodes water out. That's it.
No,
My-
dude.
My mom used to eat tomatoes like apples and just like pour salt
we have-
on each individual.
In our episode with Stash, I had made a tweet that day about how I hate tomatoes so much, and Mitch had literally pulls out like a tomato mid episode and just starts like eating it like it is apple, like just gnawing on this huge
Yum.
tomato.
No,
It was
I-
the funniest shit.
The show, I just
You
exit
just
out right
leave
there.
and it's just the three of
Yeah.
us.
That'd be it. That'd be the end of the show. I
Yeah.
would say yours. It sounds like a really obscure answer, but she's incredibly passionate about it. Not like authentic maple syrup from Canada, but just like Mrs. Butterworth, like grocery store brand maple syrup. She is almost demeaning whenever I buy it or it is around. She is like, get that peasant shit out of
I don't
here.
even like. I'll have normal maple syrup sometimes, but like I just prefer butter and like powdered sugar on French toast. Like I don't really like maple syrup, but that's the wrong answer. Red onions.
Oh,
fucking
I
hate
love red onions. Sometimes
Red onions are fire.
Sometimes,
We're on the same wavelength.
sometimes I'll just go and get a red onion and then eat it.
Stop
like
it,
an
you
apple.
liar.
Oh my god, it's so good.
And then your Uber, and then everyone that rides in your Uber that day hates you.
Yeah,
Honestly, you should do it just so people don't talk to you.
but I like when people talk to me. So
Yeah.
Okay, that's-
Mitch's
I don't,
Mitch's
so
least favorite food
that
is
would be a great
is
tactic for me.
is I think it's peas or
Oh,
beans. Peas? I think it's peas, or is it beans?
peas are the worst like vegetable like seedling because they're so boring. They are similar.
I have
Too much.
peas in the freezer. Should I just go and just start popping them in?
Frozen.
While they're
Yeah.
frozen, you're
I'm-
just breaking your jaw on a pea.
Yeah.
I eat awful.
They're so good. Although
They are good.
all my friends, whenever I made them in the office, they're like,
Because
"Oh,
they smell like shit when you microwave
They
them.
do stink.
no, everyone just called them flavorless dots."
Because they are balls of mush.
I
They
like
are
peas.
very similar to corn. Where
I hate
corn
I like-
to
I
me,
like corn.
the
Me and Viva are vibing. Me and Viva are vibing on the food topics.
the
Big E and I, we could just have a whole banquet of
Yeah,
all the
the-
foods that you
Yeah,
guys
because I'm not
Other
eating.
than that red onion comment, me and Stutterboy were on the same
yeah.
wavelength too.
We'll go to CNFT Con and just order these same meals the entire time, and they'll taste much better than Viva's.
just
Yeah.
nothing but corn and whiskey.
Peas, corns, and whiskey. But
I don't want to think about your food. That sounds
Oh
awful.
God,
That'd be a rough
you had to
time.
go.
the next question is: when did your partner have their first kiss?
You were older.
I'm about to say you guys have to talk about this. This is major life events.
Yeah, this is cheating.
I mean, keep in mind we were trauma bonding in the absolute throes of our lives falling apart at the time. I'm trying to think.
I don't know if I ever told you.
I don't think you did.
Oh shit!
Well, let's hear it.
Let's
Let's go. Let's hear the alpha. This is the
Live
alpha.
on air.
I was 14. It was in the hallway next to my gym at high school.
Little
and
musty
the guy
smell
said,
coming out. That's nice.
"Hey."
Nothing
So
smells
it was
better than
not-
15-year-old boys after a gym class.
Yep. It was magical and definitely something to be reflected on and tell my kids about.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where was your kids?
I was older. I had a very dysfunctional, fucked up family growing up, and I was about 100 pounds overweight for the majority of my teenage years. So I was not even freshman year of college. It was like right after high school, like that first summer. and I was also very intoxicated for it.
What was her name? Is she prettier than me?
Stop the pod. Stop the pod.
Cut.
Run here. Where was your first kiss? Tell me all about it. Was it
Tyler's
magical?
first kiss. So I think I remember him telling me it was like 6th grade, and it was exactly like you'd imagine, like two kids meeting up underneath the stairwell, just like making love.
Not making love, but just a little peck, and then had to get back to class. You know how it is.
What was her name?
Danielle.
Was she better looking than me?
Well, at the time she was like 12, so I'm not going to comment on her looks because I don't want to go to prison. So I'm going to say no.
At the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was cute.
Mitch, I don't think anybody's more attractive than you.
Thanks, babe. When was my first kiss, Tyler? Do you remember the first kiss we shared? No.
You were 14, 13.
No.
7.
No.
Hot or cold? Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you've had
So-
23 long, wonderful years.
I think I was like 17. No, 16. Definitely.
Hey,
not
I took
17.
the cake at 12. I took
Yeah.
the cake. Let's go.
Way to go.
But
Thank you. It's a long.
but-
It's a hard. It's my cross to bear, really.
But we were playing a truth or dare, and so I got dared. So I ended up like falling into her, and I'm like, this went better than I thought it would. So this is editing, Mitch, and the should I just said is a lie. My first kiss was my sophomore year, so I was like 16 at the time. This was like right at the end of the musical that I was currently in with the girl that I just made my girlfriend during the intermission. So if you go back to the first time I had sex, this is very, very similar to that. But anyways, let's get back to the podcast.
This went
Yeah.
swimmingly.
Swimmingly.
Everybody enjoyed themselves in this interaction.
Back then,
Right.
there was like such a pressure to, oh, you need to do this, where I'm like, do I not? So the fact that all I did was like fall means it wasn't bad.
That's right.
Like a weird amount of pressure on getting your first kiss out of the way. Like, I vividly remember that. Why though? The societal pressure for a first kiss. So weird.
Oh my god.
What a fucking cliffhanger.
That's
Holy
what
hell.
I'm.
What the
Both
fuck?
that and what?
What the
And
fuck?
what? And what?
Both that and what?
Both that and what? You left
So
us. You
it's
left
so
us way
hard
up
being
here.
a host, guys. Y'all will never know. But the idea of having sex back then, there's like such a pressure on it that makes no sense, because then by the time I did, like 2 seconds later, I'm like, I feel the exact same. Two seconds in, I'm like, now that I'm done, shouldn't I feel like a man? But I didn't.
I'm done.
But I didn't. I felt like a boy that had it.
like a boy.
But then our last one kind of goes back to NFTs. What was the first NFT your partner bought?
So I would say the first one that really pulled her into the space that forced her to make her profile was Handy's.
Oh.
But the first one, I remember her being super excited for. Well, actually, no. There were two early ones, and each one has a story. But Bright Pals, in and of itself, was one of the first ones. And I swear to God,
She's a Bright Pal simp.
No, it was in December.
I spent far too much money on Bright Pals.
It was in December. But Happy Hoppers
Yeah.
was also super early as well.
Happy Hoppers.
Um,
I would say,
Wait, the first one you bought though?
I guess Happy Hoppers would be the first one that I minted. That's
Yeah,
fair.
like
I
because
was
I
thinking
gave you.
Equine, but I did Happy Hoppers before that.
Okay.
Did you have Blaze first, or were you fucking around with pixels and stuff?
Space Bullets.
Yeah, oh
You had Space Buds
shit.
before Blaze? I was wrong. I thought it was
Do
Blaze.
you guys even know each other?
I mean, to be fair, every time that Viva started talking about NFTs before I was into it, it was like, okay, honey, you're doing a great job.
And
I just
I'll
sounded.
see you in 3 hours when you're done
Oh, she-
hyper-focusing on this.
All she heard was womp 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 womp
Goats,
womp womp.
And I'm
Yeah,
sure
like-
and I'm sure you also have like 1,000, so it's probably you probably get lost in the weeds a little bit.
I was like, hey, I just bought a 50th goat, and she was like, what the fuck are you doing?
He buys his 50th goat, and I'm like, I need to make a profile just to keep an eye on you.
Right. Right.
Taylor's first one was Growing Pains. And
Yes.
then he
Let's go, Pains.
like kept on buying. And he kept on buying.
Then the first thing I minted, the first thing I ever minted.
Down.
That's right. That's right. I joined the space a little late. Got in like the very tail end of December. So the first thing I ever minted was Soho Kids. And that was a fucking feat and a half just to even try to mint because they had like a list. And then I made the list and then the mint broke and then I waited 8 hours for my NFT. So that was a great time. That was a wonderful time.
Just start off
Back
on
in
the
the
right foot.
good old
Right,
days.
right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it was the first thing I minted. And I only minted one and I still have it just for the to look back on it. Mitch
What
minted.
was that for?
I already know he minted the little blue dudes, the
Yummies.
bumping uglies.
Oh my God, I forgot
in
about that.
fucking
Yes,
October.
but he minted. We just talked about this. That's why I know that. But he mint. Didn't you mint like
Yes.
28? You minted a bunch. Didn't you?
My first mint, I had like 5,000 Cardanos, so I'm like, oh, this is gonna blow up. So it's not blown up yet, but we are waiting on them with 12 bumping uglies. So I ended up ranking like maybe number 28, which there's like so many one of ones where that's that's a top one. That's not a one of one. So I'm just waiting on it because I'm like might as well. But then after that,
It'll pump soon.
maybe in a couple months, years. Yeah, yeah.
In a couple years.
But then after that, I ended up buying my clay, and then I ended up buying my bud. Those were like my earliest, and
So
then I bought 700 Universe 25.
so you joined the
No.
space.
700?
No, he has like 95. You joined
it's
the
not.
space.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you joined the space. You ape into bumping uglies, and then you're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just buy a clay and a bud." When Ada's like $2.
But like I said, most of the Ada I ended up buying for like 70 cents. So not terrible, but yeah.
That's a
And-
W to me.
And
Yeah,
then you
that's a dub.
can see in my butt, it's like pretty clean with the harpoon. Then my clay looks like me. So it's like I'm
with the long hair and the hard eyes.
So I'm not too mad at it, but then I bought Universe, and then I kind of built my identity on that. So, yeah, me
I
too,
love
man.
25.
Yeah, somehow Mitch got me to buy one like a couple months ago, and somehow he's dragged me into the Universe rabbit hole now too. Now I have like almost 10, and I just keep buying them. So he somehow dragged me into it with him.
So it's just a very comfy NFT, because there's like so much shit talking on Twitter and all of these discords, and although it's not the number one NFT, fuck, it's not even number 10.
It's a
It is
stable
the
coin.
most comfortable community I've ever been a part of. So, not going to shill it any harder than that, because it's not a shilling podcast, but
Right.
It's exciting to talk about projects that you actually care about, though. Like, without shilling at all, like, it's hard to find things to, like, genuinely get excited about, and especially when you have a platform that
Right.
you're speaking to people. Like, for me, I feel like I have to
Same.
second guess tweets that I put out, because I recognize how many people see my tweets, and like I don't want to like say, oh, this project, I bought into this and I'm very excited about it, and then have other people buy in and like have my influence on them be negative. Like,
Yeah.
I've stopped tweeting about projects a lot of the time, just because it's like you don't want to get caught and feel guilty for that, and it's comforting to find a project that you actually like believe in, and you have a good community, and it's not shit, it's just being excited.
There's a very thin line. So I feel like no matter what NFT podcast is out there, no matter what CNFT podcast there is out there, no matter what type of crypto content, you are always going to have a bias. So when you make the podcast where we talk about CNFTs, or you make this Twitter thing about we talk about CNFTs, then it kind of, to me, in a way, becomes a shilling podcast.
Yeah, so we don't show them. We just hang them on the wall behind us. So it's like silent show. You don't show it. They're just back here.
We'll put our handies behind us whenever it finally comes in the mail.
That was a good long 2-hour podcast, and maybe even longer. But
2 hours and 23 minutes.
This has sincerely been probably a top episode so far. So
it was great, guys.
We
doing okay.
really do appreciate you guys coming on, talking about everything from beating up connoisseur to talking NFTs to talking about shitty movies, birds, and everything.
Religion, the whole
religion, yes.
So is it?
That's right.
Secret Service.
See?
This was a great podcast.
Yeah, we really hit all the topics.
So
this was great.
So
absolutely.
Before we do end this, is there anything you guys would like to talk about or plug?
Oh, I guess I should plug myself. So I have Project Venus coming out soon. Originally, I announced that the mint date was going to be September 22nd, but that is the Vassal hard fork. I'm trying to move it up instead of pushing it back, so I'm looking at the 20th right now. But I also know myself as a person, and I'm working by myself, so the 27th is a little more likely, but I am pushing for the 20th at this point. So keep an eye out for some titties on your timeline.
Let's go. Let's make them titties.
And so, how many are minting?
Yeah, the collection's only 555. The mint price is 55 ADA. Anvil's minting, so it should be very smooth. But it's a very limited collection, so I would keep an eye on.
Perfect. And would you like to
Perfect.
plug anything, Viva?
I mean, there's 10 different things going on. I would just say a couple quick points. I'll be on Wall Wednesday tomorrow with Fett talking about Demon Hit Squad.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Or 2 days from now on Wall Wednesday.
Put that on a
talking about
sticky
Demon
note because
Hit
I'll forget.
And that should be good. Just setting expectations around all of that. We're finally getting mine and John Riviera's podcast up and running. Web3 and me finally made the Twitter for it. We just had a great interview last night with Wild Tangs, and then we have a couple other episodes backlogged, so we're just starting to post them. So you'll see that on my Twitter. And then outside of that, there's a ton of different announcements and things going on that I don't want to soak up the end of the show with. Just, we'll all meet in the Twitterverse and support each other and build that up. The biggest thing that I want to shout it out was Project
Yay!
Venus for Fart. So.
Yay! So
Yay.
are you excited about that and nervous? Both?
I am. I'm excited. I'm excited to be done with the project so I can clean my house. Like we
Yeah,
just
ready
got
for the
earlier.
relief. Like the relief to set in that is done.
Like I've been working on this since March at this point. And it's been such a long process because like it's hard to get people you don't know to send you
No, it's not.
something.
But it is with girls. It's much harder.
Yes.
That's a fact.
It is harder with ladies to get them to like trust you and
Right.
decide to send this to someone named Fart on the internet. But we're finally in the home stretch. I just finished all the final edits. I just have to slap my signature on everything and upload it. So hopefully I hit that earlier date, but we will see, and I'll have an announcement
Nice.
before that.
And
Nice.
we also will plug y'all's Twitters down below in the description. So you should get thousands and millions of more people following both Venus, Fart, and also Viva. But to those that haven't made it all the way over here, we hope you did enjoy the 2.5 hour podcast, and if you did, we would love if you dropped a sub down below and also did like the video also. Drop a comment telling us how excited you are for some NFT titties, and then on top of that, we really appreciate you guys, and we hope you did enjoy it. And perfect. We will definitely need to have you guys on again. Maybe bring more people.
Yeah.
The more, the merrier.
Round table. 6 hour pod.
Oh, man.
Let's do it.
Fuck
Episode
yeah.
10.
Let's do it. Episode 10.
24-hour.
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
What's up?
Let's do it.
Viva's playing with the idea of a 24-hour Twitter
So
space
I'd-
right
Oh,
now.
I want to
I'd
join.
definitely join for at least 2 hours of it.
At least
You
2
guys
hours,
might need
probably
more
not
content between then, but we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time on the Degen Report. Peace.
Goodbye.
Yay!
anymore.